welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week of November 29 to December the 5th. Okay, so we're going to start with an oracle card, and we're going to save it for your closing messages at the end of your reading. Okay, now let's jump right into the tarot this week to see what messages we have for Virgo as they go through their week. Now keep in mind that there is a solar eclipse on December the 4th. It's the last eclipse of the year, and I feel like it's really going to be bringing in closure to things that have been sort of really needing closure this last period here. So it's the end of stuff. I feel like we're ending a bunch of chapters because we're going to be beginning some new ones very soon. So let's jump in here and see what messages we have for Virgo. Now, first card out is the Three of Wands. So Virgo is focused on the future. Virgo is looking at creating a path forward for themselves that involves potentially some adventure, some action, some new inspiration here. I feel like Virgo they've got their sights set on the future, not the past, and maybe not even the present. They're really focused on the future. Now, the Six of Cups is coming in here as what is creating an obstacle. So the Six of Cups to me is always a time where we're looking at the past overly. It's interesting because I said that you're focused on the future, not even the present, but perhaps there is some stuff from the past. This is where the closure aspect comes in, as I was talking about this lunar eclipse, solar eclipse coming in to help us close things out. I feel like an attachment to the past is holding Virgo back from really looking at their future. Okay, so there's something that needs closure from the past. Top of mind here, is the Five of Cups. So it's the idea of surrendering this feeling of loss and separation and this emotional time where it's like you need to accept this. Virgo needs to sort of accept this idea of leaving something behind in the past. And I say that because of the Six of Cups, but this is a time where there's sadness about something that happened in the past, and that is the focus right now, and it's holding Virgo back from realizing their future because they've attached meaning overly to this past, and it might have been quite emotional, this loss. And it's really top of mind, right? Now, the thing driving this reading is the Fool, which is an energy of self-discovery. So Virgo is really on the path. It's interesting. Everyone that I've read for today seems to be sort of making choices. Am I going to pursue my future, or am I going to look at the past, right? And I feel like right now, Virgo is sort of being encouraged to stay in the present, to sort of allow the future to figure itself out, and to forgive and walk away and close down this past pain. And when I see the Fool as sort of what's driving the reading, it really makes me think that you're at a place right now where it's time to take a leap of faith and stay in the present. Focus on what you're doing now, Virgo. Don't worry about the future and let the past go. Right? It's almost like you're caught between two time periods that don't actually exist, and you're ignoring the present, right? You're focused on the future and the past, but what about the present? What about the now, right? I feel like you're being guided to focus on that. Now, in the recent past, I see that you've come from an experience that was incredibly overwhelming, and you felt very overburdened. There were too many demands on you. You were left sort of holding everything alone. You felt that burden. You may have even felt like you were sacrificing, and you thought to yourself, I don't know how I can keep going. That was very recent energy for you. And in the upcoming energy, we see the King of Swords, which is a time where you feel quite ambitious and ready to make some mental shifts. So I feel like taking a break might be interesting in the present for you, Virgo. You might need to take a little rest because, you know, you're grieving the past. You're worried about the future potentially. You're needing to start the now, you know, with this Fool energy. You're really needing to start paying attention to the now. And it might be tricky because this situation in the past that you were grieving really, really was overwhelming. It was very overwhelming. And we could be talking about two past scenarios here. They might not be the same scenario. I kind of feel like we're talking about a very distant past situation here with the Six of Cups and the Five of Cups, and then something more recently with the Ten of Wands. So I feel like they're two different situations, but they may have a relationship. But I feel like this thing in the past that you're thinking about happened in the distant past, where it was very recent that you felt this sort of overwhelmed feeling. I think because of this sort of tug of war that you're engaged in between thinking about the past and worrying about the future. You know what I mean? When really we need to focus on the now with this energy of self-discovery by taking a leap of faith and discovering your potential in the now, as opposed to worrying about the past or the future. Now, your inner dialogue is one where you're sort of being asked to think again. Again, you got the Creator card, which is typically a no message. And so that makes me think that you might be sort of focusing on something that's not serving you, where, you know, that makes sense, because if the past is creating an obstacle for you, and it's very much on your mind with the Five of Cups, then your inner dialogue isn't really serving you, because focusing too heavily on the past without sort of any indication that you're doing so in order to understand some sort of wisdom that you received from those past experiences, I feel like you're just torturing yourself a little bit here. I feel like you're remembering things that don't serve you, or you're focused on things that aren't serving you, and the way that you're talking to yourself about this situation isn't serving you either. So you're sort of getting this no message, which says it's time to pursue something new, which is, I mean, right here in this Fool message, Virgo. So it's very interesting. Now, the outer expression of yourself is making moves. You know, the outer expression of yourself is starting to make some moves. And we see here the Ace of Pentacles, which is really a time of new beginnings and prosperity. So I feel like you are working towards creating something new, but it's like your mind is preoccupied. Your mind and your heart. I can't help but think that this is an emotional thing for you. But you are very strategic about how you're going to pursue things in the future. So I'm not overly concerned that you're going to stay here long. I think something is going to come to shift you out of this. And maybe it's that you're going to realize that the way you're remembering things, or the focus that you have, isn't really serving you for your future. And so you quickly sort of begin to start focusing on new beginnings. Or it could just be that you're not very congruent right now, that your inner dialogue and your outer actions don't match. And that in your mind, you're sort of thinking about the past and how it's played a role even up until the recent past, where you felt really overwhelmed and overburdened, overtaxed, and you're thinking of a new way to do things, right, with this Ace of Pentacles. And that matches with this Three of Wands, where you're envisioning a new future and you're taking action on it. So I feel like not only are you envisioning a new future, but you're actually taking steps towards something new. So you may have started something new recently that will pave the road for the future, right? And it's just a matter of sort of surrendering any concerns you have about will it work or not, and also this idea of letting the past just go. Maybe that will help when we have that solar eclipse. Maybe you'll start to feel the energy of closure, and that will help. Now, the Page of Cups is really where we're finding that you're, wanting to see a change, but also a little fearful of it. So the idea of creating a new connection, right? Like experiencing a new emotional level of, connection to another or to yourself. This is very much an idea of transformation on an emotional level. So this could be you transforming. This could be you seeing things differently in an emotional lens, but a new emotional lens, one that is very much focused on the idea of balance and assessing whether or not your motivations for love have been because of some sort of deficit. Like, are you people pleasing, or are you genuine? Do you know what I mean? Like, this Page of Cups is really a time of sort of shifting our emotional lens to a new perspective. So you might move away from people pleasing or self-sacrifice into something else. And I feel like that's relevant because of this Ten of Wands, that maybe you were in self-sacrifice too much. Maybe you were people pleasing too much, Virgo, and it's not sustainable. So it's like you've discovered that, and you're like, okay, I know I need to shift how I do things. Am I going to be able to do it? Because this is sort of this is landing in the position of what you want, but you're also sort of afraid of, like, your hopes and fears. And so the final outcome for you, Virgo, seems to be very positive. It's the King of Wands. It's your second king on here. So I feel like your shift, and it's a masculine. You got the King of Swords and the King of Wands. So you're really going to be motivated and feeling like ambitious towards taking a new path into the future. And I feel like the only thing holding you back is some stuff from the past that needs healing, maybe, or just needs you to sort of surrender it and let it go. But with the Fool card here and all of these, you've got an Ace of Pentacles, a Page of Cups, and the two Kings. I feel like this is a union of energies that can't be beat. You have a lot of motivation behind you to create a new path forward, and I feel like you're going to do it. I feel like you're totally going to do it, but you just got to watch that inner dialogue that is a little bit saboteur, right? There's some thoughts and messages that you're saying to yourself that are not serving you, and I feel like it has to do with these these cards of the past here. Very emotional situation that involved loss and involved sort of maybe all the way back to the inner child, where there needs to be some reconciliation made, some balance brought into a past wound, an old story that you keep telling yourself. And then there's also this Ten of Wands, where you were up against a lot of heat. You were really overwhelmed, overloaded, and you weren't sure that you were going to be able to start again, but you have started again. So it's just a matter of really monitoring that inner dialogue, which is the magic maker, right? We don't want to be manifesting things that we're afraid of. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we see the Empress. So that really does tell me there's a lot of creative energy, not just masculine action and motivation, but a lot of creative feminine energy here, expressive, creative, and very much in harmony with your expression of yourself. So however it is that you express your creativity is very much being highlighted here for you, Virgo. And so you must, I feel like I'm reading for someone who is a creator of some kind, an artist, I don't know, some kind of artist, a creator. You create, and I feel as you create, you must evolve, and you are evolving now. I feel like this is a creative evolution that you're going through, but it's also sort of bringing up some healing that needs to happen. It's letting go of some of this pain and sorrow about the past, something that didn't work out, something that left you feeling devastated. And not just devastated, but loss. There was a loss here. Something you perceived as a loss occurred. And perhaps that loss is what left you feeling so overwhelmed. You know, I can't help but feel like you were left holding all the responsibility of whatever it is that you do here. That's very interesting. Okay, let's see what's this message for the... this is so interesting. You know, the... The Capricorn got the card 33. Taurus got card 32. You're getting card 31. So all the earth signs for this oracle deck here have been getting, it's very interesting numerologically speaking. So it says here, embrace change. I easily and confidently move through the changes of my life. And you are, like, look at this with the Fool card and this embrace change card. It's very similar imagery. You are moving through a phase of your life. It's time to release your sorrow about the past and to really strike off into this new beginning, right? And easily and confidently move through the changes of your life. I feel like you are moving through changes here, and that the confidence is coming through these masculine energies of the King of Swords and the King of Wands. And the ease and grace of this is coming from the Empress, where you accept change and you move through it, trusting that this is how we evolve. And even though evolution has been tricky in the past for you because you've been exhausted by the sheer amount of, almost the sheer amount of responsibility you held for creation, right? You really hold creation in a high regard, and so I feel like you put your whole self into it, and almost too much. You might need to learn to rely on others in this dynamic. It's very interesting. And maybe that's why we're seeing the Page of Cups here, is that you're almost being guided towards this new emotional level where it's not just you doing everything, right? That you have a renewed outlook on how to connect with others, right? And maybe you've learned that by this emotional loss that happened in the past. Regardless, my dear Virgo, it's time to move easily and confidently into the next chapter of your life. This card is embracing change. I'm going to leave it at that. If this has resonated for you and you would like a personal reading, you can find my email in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Have a great week.